The royal dining hall of Station Velmora was silent. That alone was strange. The hall was built to impress. The ceiling was high and curved like a sky made of glass. Soft blue lights floated in the air like slow stars. Long tables of white metal stretched across the room, covered with plates made from crystal and gold. The air smelled of rich spices from 10 different worlds. In the center of it all sat the princess. Princess Kalira of House Threx. Before her was a feast meant for legends. There were glowing fruits that hummed softly when cut. There were bowls of warm protein jelly that changed flavor with every bite. There was meat grown in royal labs, cooked perfectly by machines older than most empires. This food could have fed a small city for a week. And yet, Princess Kalira did not eat. She sat very still, her long silver hands folded in her lap. Her royal robes shimmered with tiny gems, and a thin crown rested on her head. To anyone watching, she looked calm, perfect, royal, but her eyes told another story. They were dull, empty, like a window into a dark room. Around her, the alien nobles whispered. "She is spoiled," one of them muttered. "Look at that food," another said. "She wastes it." "She always does this," a third added. "Too proud to eat like the rest of us." The servants stood frozen, afraid to move. Guards lined the walls, their weapons quiet but ready. This dinner was meant to honor the princess before her transfer to the capital world. Everything had to be perfect, but it was not. At the far end of the hall, near the service door, a human watched quietly. His name was Elias Ward. Elias was not important. He was a station support worker, assigned to help with maintenance and food delivery during royal events. Humans were still new to the Galactic Union. Most species saw them as useful, polite, and easy to ignore. That suited Elias just fine. He had been carrying a crate of fresh plates when he noticed the princess had not touched her food. At first, he thought nothing of it. Royals were strange everywhere, but as minutes passed, then longer, something felt wrong. She did not look angry, she looked tired. Elias slowed his steps. He watched how her shoulders were slightly tense, how her fingers trembled just a little when the nobles spoke. When a servant tried to refill her glass, she flinched as if startled. That was not the behavior of someone who was spoiled. That was fear. The head steward leaned close to the princess and spoke in a sharp whisper. "Your Highness, the council is watching. Please eat." Princess Kalira looked at the plate. Then she gently pushed it away. Gasps filled the hall. The steward froze. The nobles stared. One of the guards shifted his stance. This was an insult. A public one. The princess finally spoke, her voice soft but clear. "I am not hungry." The words echoed more loudly than any shout. The nobles began to murmur again, louder this time. "Impossible," one said. "That food is worth more than a starship." Another hissed, "She does this on purpose." Elias felt something twist in his chest. He had seen hunger before, real hunger. On human colonies where food was short and people still shared. On ships where crews survived on half meals and jokes to hide the fear. This was not that kind of hunger. When the nobles were distracted, Elias did something foolish. He stepped forward. The guards noticed immediately, but before they could stop him, Elias bowed slightly. Not deep, not perfect, human style. "Your Highness," he said carefully, keeping his voice calm, "forgive me." The hall went silent again. No one spoke to the princess without permission, especially not a human worker. Princess Kalira slowly lifted her head. Their eyes met. For a moment, Elias thought he would be punished on the spot. Instead, something changed. The emptiness in her eyes cracked just a little. "Yes?" she said. Elias swallowed. His heart was beating fast. But he continued. "I thought perhaps the food was not prepared to your taste," he said. "If you wish, I can bring something else, the noble scoffed. Human food? One laughed. She would never eat that. Princess Kalira looked at the feast again. Then at Elias. No, she said quietly. It is not the food. Elias frowned, confused. Then, what is wrong, Your Highness? The guards tensed. The steward opened his mouth to stop this, but the princess raised one hand. Leave us, she said. The command was soft, it was absolute. The nobles protested, but slowly, unwillingly, they backed away. The guards stepped back just enough to give space, though their eyes never left Elias. For the first time in a very long time, Princess Kalira was not surrounded by voices telling her what to do. She leaned forward slightly. Her voice dropped to almost a whisper. I am not hungry for food, she said. Elias listened. I am hungry for something I have never had, she continued. Her fingers tightened in her lap. Something no one here is allowed to give me. Elias asked the simplest question of his life. What is that? The princess looked at him, really looked at him. And in that moment, she was not a princess. She was just a young woman in a beautiful cage. Help, she whispered. Elias did not answer right away, but he did not look away either. And that, for the first time, made the princess feel less alone. Elias War did not sleep that night. The station lights outside his small room dimmed and brightened in their slow cycle, but his mind stayed awake. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the princess's face. Not her crown, not her robes. Her eyes, hungry eyes, not for food. By morning, the station was buzzing with rumors. Did you hear? The human spoke to the princess. He crossed the royal line. They say she ordered the nobles away. Elias heard the whispers as he walked through the lower decks. People stared at him, some with fear, some with respect, most with confusion. Humans were not supposed to matter. An hour later, he was summoned. Two guards waited outside the service lift. Tall, silent, their armor was dark and smooth, marked with the crust of house threats. They did not grab him. They did not need to. Come, one said. The lift moved upward, toward the royal sector. Elias felt his stomach tighten. Humans had a saying, no good story starts with a summons. He kept his hands visible and his breathing steady. The doors opened into a quiet chamber, smaller than the dining hall but far more dangerous. Princess Kalira sat near a wide window. Beyond the glass, space stretched endlessly, stars scattered like dust. She was not wearing her crown. That alone felt wrong. No guards stood close. No nobles whispered. Only one attendant waited near the door, watching carefully. Elias stopped a few steps away and bowed. You asked for me, Your Highness. Yes, Kalira said. Her voice sounded stronger today, not happy, but awake. You should not have spoken to me last night, she continued. Elias nodded. I know. That act could cost you your position or your freedom. I know that too. She studied him in silence. Then she asked something unexpected. Why did you do it? Elias hesitated. This was the wrong answer kind of question. The kind that could destroy lives. Because, he said slowly, you looked like someone who needed help. The attendant shifted, clearly uncomfortable. Kalira turned back to the stars. Everyone says they help me, she said. They give me gifts. Food, ships, songs, titles. She looked at him again. None of them ask what I want, Elias swallowed. His heart told him to stop. His brain told him to leave. Instead, he asked the worst question possible. What do you want? The room went still. Even the hum of the station felt louder. The attendant stiffened. Human, they warned. Kalira raised her hand. The attendant fell silent. For a long moment, the princess did not speak. When she did, her voice was low. I want to choose, she said. Choose what? Elias asked gently. Anything, she replied. My day, my future, my name if I wish. She stood and walked closer to the window. Her reflection stared back at her, dressed in silk and power. I am to be transferred to the capital world. Tomorrow, she said. There, I will be married to someone I have never met, to strengthen alliances, to calm wars. Elias felt anger rise, hot and sudden. She does not sound spoiled, he thought. She sounds trapped. You could refuse, he said before thinking. Kalira gave a small, sad smile. I cannot. Why not? Because my people need me to obey, she said. A princess who chooses herself is called selfish. Elias crossed his arms, a very human gesture. Where I come from, he said, forcing someone to live a life they hate is called cruel. The attendant gasped softly. Kalira stared at him, shocked. No one has ever said that to me, she whispered. Elias realized then what he was doing. He was breaking a rule older than empires. He was treating her like a person. Footsteps echoed outside the chamber. Voices. Nobles. The council was coming. Kalira straightened. The mask returned to her face, smooth and perfect. But something inside her had shifted. You must go, she said. Elias nodded. He turned to leave, then stopped. Your Highness, he said, careful but honest. I cannot promise to save you. She met his eyes. But you will not look away, she said. No, Elias replied. I won't. As he left the chamber, alarms did not sound. No guards attacked him, but far above, in rooms filled with power, the council was already speaking his name, not as a helper, but as a problem, and Princess Kalira, alone again, pressed her hand to the glass and felt something new in her chest. Hope. Dangerous. Fragile. Human. Princess Kalira stood alone in her private chamber. The room was large, quiet, and beautiful. The walls were made of smooth silver stone that glowed softly. Tall windows showed the endless stars outside the station. From here, the galaxy looked free, endless, alive. But Kalira felt none of that freedom. To her, the room was a cage. A gentle tone sounded in the air. A calm female voice spoke. Princess Kalira, your schedule for today is ready. Kalira closed her eyes. Read it, she said. Royal grooming in 20 minutes. Political briefing in 1 hour. Cultural training in 2 hours. Rest period denied due to travel preparation. Kalira opened her eyes. No rest, she whispered. The voice continued, emotionless. Tonight, you will attend the departure ceremony. Tomorrow, you will be transferred to the capital world for your union. Her fingers tightened. Stop, Kalira said. The voice went silent. She walked to the window and placed her hand on the glass. The stars felt close, yet unreachable. She wondered how many people were out there living simple lives. Choosing when to sleep. Choosing who to speak to. Choosing who to love. A memory returned to her mind. The human. Elias Ward, he had spoken to her like she was not made of rules and duty. He had asked what she wanted. No one had ever done that. A soft knock came at the door. Enter, Kalira said. A guard stepped inside. Your Highness, the human worker has been reassigned to maintenance duty near the docking ring. Kalira's heart skipped. They moved him, she said quietly. Yes. The council believes his presence is disruptive. Disruptive. That word made her almost smile. Thank you, she said. When the guard left, Kalira sat down slowly. Her hands rested on her knees. Her breathing was steady, but her thoughts were not. If she did nothing, her life would continue as planned. Perfect. Silent. Empty. Far below. Near the docking ring, Elias worked in the cold metal corridors. He repaired panels and checked power lines. But his thoughts stayed with the princess. He knew he had crossed a line. Humans survived by understanding systems. And the royal system was clear. Do not interfere. Yet he could not forget the way she had said help. A group of alien technicians walked past him, speaking in low voices. "The princess is difficult," one said. "She refuses food. She refuses joy. She is spoiled by comfort," another replied. Elias turned slowly. "She is not spoiled," he said. The technicians looked at him with surprise. "She is controlled," Elias continued. "There is a difference." They said nothing and moved on. Elias exhaled. His hands shook slightly. That was when he felt it. A presence. He turned. Princess Kalira stood at the end of the corridor. No guards. No crown. Just simple clothing and tired eyes. "How did you get here?" Elias asked, shocked. "There are hidden paths on this station," she said. "Paths made for royals who wish to move unseen." "Then why use them?" he asked. Kalira stepped closer. The metal floor felt cold under her feet. "Because this may be my last chance to speak freely," she said. Elias looked around. "You shouldn't be here. I know." She stood before him now, so close he could see the small lines under her eyes. Signs of long nights and heavy thoughts. "I am leaving tomorrow," she said. "I heard," Elias replied. "I wanted to thank you," she continued, "for listening." Elias shook his head. "Listening is not enough." Kalira smiled sadly. "It is more than I have ever had." She looked around the corridor. Pipes, tools, workers' marks on the walls. "This place is ugly," she said. Elias laughed once. "Yeah, but it's honest." She nodded slowly. "That is why I came." Her voice grew quieter. "My people call me spoiled because I refuse their gifts," she said. "But what they give me is not kindness, it is control." She looked straight at Elias. "Is it wrong to want a life that belongs to me?" Elias answered, without hesitation, "No." The word was simple, that it felt powerful. Alarm sounded in the distance. Soft at first, then louder. Kalira stiffened. "They know," she said. Footsteps echoed. Guards were coming. She took a step back. "I must go," she said. "But I needed to hear that word." Elias nodded. Anytime. Anytime." She turned, then paused. "Elias," she said. "Yes?" "If I choose to break my cage, will humans stand with me?" Elias met her eyes. "We always stand with those who choose," he said. Kalira smiled, not a royal smile. A real one. Then she vanished into a hidden door as the guards arrived. Elias returned to his work. Heart pounding. Above them both, the stars kept shining. And the cage began to crack. The council chamber was full. Tall seats formed a wide circle around a glowing floor. Symbols of power floated in the air. Old victories, old promises, old lies. This was where futures were decided without asking those who had to live them. Princess Kalira stood in the center. She wore her crown again. Her face was calm, perfect, the way a princess was taught to look when her heart was screaming. The elders of House Threx watched her closely. Military leaders, trade masters, cultural priests. All of them important. All of them certain they knew what was best. "The human has influenced you," one elder said sharply. "This behavior began after you spoke to him." Another added, "You reject food, ceremony, joy. These are signs of indulgence." A third leaned forward. "You are spoiled, princess. Too protected to understand duty." The word hit harder than any weapon. Spoiled. Kalira felt her hands shake, but she kept them still. Years of training held her upright. "I have done everything asked of me," she said. "I have followed every rule." "And yet you resist," the elder replied. "Why?" Silence filled the chamber. Kalira thought of the corridor. The cold metal, the honest air. The human who had looked at her and seen a person, not a role. She opened her mouth to speak. Before she could, the doors slid open. Gasps echoed. A human walked in. Elias Ward. 2 guards marched behind him, hands close to their weapons. "Stop this," an elder snapped. "Remove him at once." Elias did not resist. He did not bow. He simply looked around the chamber. So much power. So little life. "You summoned me," Elias said calmly. "Yes," the head elder replied. "You will answer for your interference." Kalira's eyes widened. "This is my fault," she said quickly. "He did nothing wrong." Elias glanced at her, surprised. "He spoke when he should not have," an elder said. "He filled your mind with human ideas," Elias frowned. "I asked a question." "A dangerous one," the elder replied. Kalira clenched her fists. "What question?" the elder demanded. Elias took a breath. "I asked what she wanted." The chamber erupted. "That is not your place. Royal needs are not personal. Desire weakens leadership." Kalira felt something inside her break. "No," she said loudly. The chamber fell silent. She lifted her chin. "That word you keep using," she continued, her voice shaking but strong. "Spoiled. You use it because it is easy." The elders stared. "I am not spoiled," Kalira said. "I am controlled." Murmurs spread. Elias felt a slow smile form. "She has never spoken like this before," someone whispered. "You gave me food," Kalira went on, "more than I could eat. You gave me jewels, music, guards." She looked at each elder in turn. "But you never gave me a choice." An elder stood. "Choice is a human weakness." Elias stepped forward without thinking. "No," he said. "It is a human strength." Weapons hummed. Guards aimed. Kalira raised her hand sharply. "Enough!" The sound echoed like thunder. She turned to the elders. "You call me spoiled because I refuse your gifts. But your gifts are chains." Her voice softened. "The human did not give me food. He gave me respect." That word landed heavier than any insult. Respect. The head elder's eyes hardened. "You forget yourself, princess." Kalira smiled. "No," she said. "For the first time I remember who I am." The elder turned to the guards. "Arrest the human." The guards stepped forward. Elias did not move. Kalira stepped between them. "If you touch him," she said, "I will refuse the union. I will refuse the crown. I will speak to the people." Shock rippled through the chamber. "You would risk war?" An elder demanded. "I would risk truth," Kalira replied. Silence followed, long, heavy. At last, the head elder raised his hand. "Remove the human from this chamber," he said. Coldly, "We will deal with him later." The guards hesitated. Then they escorted Elias out. As he passed Kalira, he spoke softly. "You were brave." She did not look at him. But her voice answered, "So were you." The doors closed. The council chamber felt smaller now. Because a lie had been named, and once a lie is named, it begins to die. Elias Ward waited in a holding room made of bare metal. There were no chains on his hands, no pain, no shouting. That made it worse. 2 guards stood near the door, silent as statues. A soft light glowed from the ceiling, steady and cold. This room was not built to hurt people. It was built to remind them how small they were. Elias sat on the bench and breathed slowly. He knew this moment. Humans had faced it many times across the stars. Say sorry, obey, survive. The door opened. An elder of House Threx entered, tall and thin, wrapped in dark robes. His eyes were old and sharp. "You should not be here," the elder said. "I know," Elias replied. "You spoke words that disrupt balance." "I spoke the truth." The elder studied him. Truth is not always useful. Elias shrugged. "It always matters." The elder circled him slowly. "Why risk yourself for her?" Elias looked up. "Because no one else would." The elder stopped walking. "She has everything," he said. "Power, protection, legacy." "She has none of those," Elias answered calmly. Not if she cannot choose. The elder's eyes narrowed. You humans are strange. You give loyalty without command. Elias smiled faintly. We give it freely. The elder turned toward the door. Stay here. When he left, Elias expected fear to return. It didn't. Instead, he felt steady. Elsewhere on the station, Princess Kalira stood alone in her chamber again. But this time she was not still. She paced. The words echoed in her mind. Arrest the human. She clenched her hands. They will break him, she whispered, or erase him. Her reflection in the window looked back at her. A princess. A symbol. A tool. She turned away. No, she said out loud. Kalira moved with purpose now. She activated a private channel 1 reserved only for heirs of House Threx. The screen lit up with faces, elders, generals, diplomats, all watching her. I call for a delay, she said firmly. Release the human. An elder scoffed. You make demands now? Yes, Kalira replied. Do, murmurs spread. You risk everything, another warned. Kalira took a breath. Then she offered something no one expected. I will take responsibility, she said. Silence. I will attend the union, she continued. I will speak as planned. I will wear the crown. Hope flickered in the elder's eyes. But, she added, the human will go free. The head elder leaned forward. Why? Kalira answered honestly. Because he treated me like a person when no one else did. The elders whispered among themselves. Finally the head elder spoke. Very well, he said. The human will be released. The channel went dark. Kalira's knees weakened. She sat down, breathing hard. But this is not over, she whispered. Back in the holding room, the door slid open. The guards stepped aside. Elias stood slowly, unsure. You are free, one guard said. Elias frowned. Why? The guard hesitated. The princess demanded it. Elias felt something warm rise in his chest. Freedom, not given by law. Given by courage. Later, in a quiet service corridor, Kalira met him once more. No guards, no witnesses. You should not have done that, Elias said. I know, she replied. He looked at her. You traded yourself for me. Kalira shook her head. No, she stepped closer. I learned something from humans, she said. You give what you believe in. Even when it costs you. Elias swallowed. And what do you believe in? He asked. Kalira lifted her chin. Choice, she said. Alarms echoed faintly through the station. Time was running out, but something powerful had already been given. Not food, not gold, but something far more dangerous. Hope. The station woke to ceremony. Music flowed through the halls, slow and proud. Lights shifted to royal colors. Servants moved quickly, heads low. Guards stood in perfect lines. Everything was ready for the departure ceremony. Everything except the princess. Princess. Kalira stood before a mirror in her chamber. The crown rested on a velvet stand beside her. Her royal robes hung neatly, untouched. For the first time in her life, no one was rushing her. No voice read her schedule. No elder watched her steps. She had locked the door. Her reflection stared back at her. A future already written. She placed her hand over her chest and felt her heart racing. This is the moment, she whispered. Across the station, Elias Ward stood near the docking bay, watching the royal ship prepare for launch. He had been ordered to stay far from the ceremony. Far from the princess. He understood why. Humans were useful but not welcome in moments of power. A fellow worker leaned toward him. You look like someone waiting for bad news. Elias gave a small smile. Or good. The ceremony hall filled with nobles and leaders. Floating banners displayed the symbols of House Threx. Cameras hovered, ready to send the event across. The Empire. The head elder stepped forward. Today, he announced, we send our princess to her destiny. The doors at the far end of the hall slid open. Princess Kalira entered. Gasps followed. She wore no crown. No royal colors. Only simple white clothing. The hall fell into stunned silence. The elder's voice tightened. Your Highness, this is not proper. Kalira walked forward anyway. Each step felt heavy. Free, I am here, she said clearly, to speak. This is not the time, the elder warned. It is the only time, Kalira replied. She turned, facing the crowd. Nobles, servants, guards, cameras, my people, she began, her voice steady despite the fear. You were told I am spoiled. Murmurs spread. You were told I reject comfort and duty, she continued. That I refuse joy. She paused. I refuse a lie. The elders stood, alarmed. Kalira raised her hand. All my life I was given food, gifts, and protection, she said, but never choice. She looked directly into a camera. Today I choose. The hall erupted in noise. Guards! An elder shouted. No one moved. Kalira continued. I will not enter a union forced upon me. I will not rule as a symbol without a voice. She reached up and removed the crown from the stand beside her. Then she placed it gently on the floor. Sound echoed like thunder. Far away. Elias felt it before he heard it. The station's energy shifted. People stopped working. Screens flickered. The princess was speaking. Kalira took a breath. I choose to leave this station, she said, not as a princess, as a person. Security alarms wailed. The elders shouted. Orders, still. No guard touched her. Some lowered their weapons. Some turned away. Choice was spreading. Kalira turned and walked out of the hall, not running. Through shocked crowds, through open doors, toward the docking bay. Elias saw her before he believed it. She walked toward him through the smoke and flashing lights. You did it, he whispered. No, she said softly. We did. A shuttle waited behind them. Alarms screamed. The head elder's voice echoed over the station. Stop her. Kalira stepped onto the shuttle ramp. She turned back one last time. I was never spoiled, she said. I was starved. Then the doors closed. The engines ignited. And for the first time in her life, Princess Kalira chose where she was going. The shuttle moved quietly through space. No music, no guards, no commands. Princess Kalira sat by the small window, watching the stars pass. They looked different now. Not like distant lights, but like open doors. Across from her, Elias Ward checked the navigation panel. The shuttle was old, human-made, simple, honest. For a long time, neither of them spoke. Kalira broke the silence. I thought freedom would feel loud, she said. Like victory, Elo smiled softly. It usually feels quiet first, she nodded. That felt right. Behind them, the great station grew smaller. The place that had been her home, her prison, her title. She did not feel regret. Only relief. Hours later, the shuttle docked with a small human outpost. No banners welcomed them. No crowds waited. Just a few lights, a few people, and the hum of life continuing as normal. Kalira stepped out slowly. The air smelled plain. Metal and recycled oxygen. Nothing special. She loved it. A human woman waved from across the bay. You're late, she called to Elias. Dinner's cold. Elias laughed. Worth it. Kalira froze. Dinner, she asked. Yes, Elias said. Everyone eats together here. No special table, no watchers. Just people. They walked into a simple hall. Humans sat on benches, talking, laughing, arguing about small things. Someone dropped a cup and cursed. Someone else helped clean it. No one bowed. No one stared. A plate was placed in front of Kalira. Simple food, warm, real. She looked at it. Then she looked up. Elias watched carefully, not pushing, not judging. Kalira picked up the utensil and ate. The taste was nothing special, but tears filled her eyes. Later that night, she stood alone on a viewing platform. Elias joined her quietly. "You okay?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "I think I finally understand." "Understand what?" "All those years," she said slowly. "They kept feeding me. Food, comfort." She turned to him. "But they never fed the part of me that mattered." Elias nodded. "Choice?" She smiled. "The longing," she said. "To myself." Messages began arriving from across the galaxy. News spread fast. The princess has fled. The spoiled royal shamed the empire. Humans corrupted her. Kalira read them calmly. "Do you regret it?" Elias asked. She shook her head. "For the first time, my life is mine," she said. "Let them call me spoiled." She looked at the stars again. They never understood. She whispered, "I was never hungry for food." Elias waited. She finished the thought. "I was hungry for freedom." Far away, empires argued, councils panicked. Plans collapsed. But on a small human outpost, a former princess learned how to live, and the galaxy learned something new. Humans do not conquer with weapons. They conquer with something far more dangerous. They remind others that they are people. And once someone remembers that, they can never be owned again.